Anyway, what the hell was going on here, right?
Obviously, the house lights are coming up.
Oh, it's that? We're done? It's over? We're done?
Round of applause.
Hell yeah. Everyone give yourselves a round of applause. Oh, we did it last time. I can't do it again. We already knew it was coming now.
It's me, Miss Not Appearing in this game. Listen, I am one, yet many. What I speak is our tale. However, this is a small world, sealed by glass and cork, with no one to hear. None shall lay eyes upon it, and my entire tale shall be sealed away. Set adrift in the sea of my heart until it disappears amongst the seaweed. Ah, where is this place? And who am I? Then let me ask, where do you want it to be? Who do you want it to be? Any place, so long as it will wrap itself around me gently. Anyone, so long as I am treated kindly. Yes, for us. For us. Where and who we hardly matter. Correct. For us, it's such a trivial matter. At least until that day comes to pass. Why must we be thrown in the path of a new fate? Fate's pronouncement was sudden and abrupt. It wasn't the fate I'd wished for, but it did make your heart pound. Where will the new fate take me? It doesn't matter where.
I wonder if they're singing the lyrics to the song.
So long as that place is kind to us. When we were brought to the temporary dwelling where sad, parentless children gather, was that a sign of God's salvation? Or a lure into the demon's game where the new fate would torment us?
When we were brought to the temporary dwelling where sad... So the orphanage.
Yep.
Yep.
We have no way of knowing. And yet, we want to believe.
She has Beato's face.
We want to believe it was God's salvation sent to us. A sign of Fukuin, the good news, the gospel.
Fukuin house. Yep.
But why me? I have no religion. Then it wasn't the gospel, but a demon's lure. And yet, we cannot go against fate. Oh, I am one yet many. I pray that the new fate brings us blessings. The time is 1976 AD, in April, at a time still too cool to be called spring. In a strange new land, we were tormented by the same stale air and drafts. Chapter 1, A New Life.
So is this our... Achievement unlocked. Oh, I am one yet many. Chapter 1, A New Life. Okay. Is this our big... Also, that song was a banger.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm guessing this person is Sayo Canon.
Yeah. Those are the family rules. They may be strict, but I believe that the discipline you learn in this house will serve you well in the future.
Yes, madam. The servants who would start working this April all called out in unison. The rules of the Ushiromiya family are no more or less strict than those of the Fukuin house. However, we get paid a lot of money here. They also give us a lot of help in finding our next job. We work for the Ushiromiya family, store up money, use their influence to get a job at a good company, and start on a new happy life. That was the dream, and it was a very realistic one, held by all of us at the Fukuin house. However, not everyone can become an Ushiromiya family servant. Only kids with a record of exemplary conduct and good grades are recommended. So all of the kids who want to be sure of leaving the Fukuin house to live a happy life are feverishly devoted to their studies.
That's enough for today. Tomorrow you start early. Make sure the lights are all out at the appropriate time. That is all.
Yes, madam. Thank you very much. After bowing until Natsuhi was no longer in sight, the new servants all followed the lead of one of the more experienced servants and raised their heads.
Aha!
Okay. Okay, we're done for the day. Starting tomorrow, you'll be following your shift schedule. The madam is very strict about time. If any of you sleep in, it'll be my responsibility. So if you do, I'll kick you awake. Got it? Of course, this experienced servant was one of the older girls from the Fukuin house. She's been here for 2 years, apparently. That's probably why all the other new servants, who are older than me, seem to know her well.
That madam looks so strict.
Dang, I'm tired.
So, I wonder if the older servants then were the inspiration for what became the stakes.
I bet, yeah.
By the way, who exactly is this kid? Why were you chosen to be a servant? Should you be narrating this? Since you are...
I can if you'd like me
Yeah,
to.
Since you're Sayo Canon, feels like that'd be appropriate.
The older servant pointed at me and asked the room at large, a dubious look on her face. It's no surprise, really. Most of us become servants when we graduate middle school or high school. But I'm just starting elementary school. The others will be working as servants every day of the week, according to their standard shift schedule. However, on weekdays, I was going to go to the elementary school on Nijima with Milady, only working on weekends and when I had free time. Interesting. So that's how it makes sense for a Shannon to have talked about when she went to school.
Yep, that checks that out. Because that was one of the things we were worried about. Like, how do we fit that in?
Yeah. It was an exception among exceptions, something that had never happened before.
I wonder if because Natsuhi realizes who they are.
Or Kinzo does.
Or Kinzo does.
It was clear at a glance that the others, who had obtained their positions after a rigorous selection process, didn't like the fact that I was here too.
Both Madam and Genji-sama have told me that you are to put your studies first, but you're still getting paid. Doesn't make any sense. They gotta know. They probably know. It seems like they're setting Sayo Canon up.
If you're going to talk behind someone's back, at least do it behind them.
Oh, I'm not behind your back. I mean for you to hear this.
Yeah, that's why my line is about.
Yeah,
She didn't even try to hide her discontent.
Is this kid really that smart? A child prodigy or something?
I never heard anything about that.
Well, that kid's supposed to get sick easily and is kept isolated most of the time. A total outsider to the rest of us, even back at the house.
Now that you're here, you're part of the collective responsibility system. If you screw up, it's the same as everyone for the Fukuin house screwing up. Make sure you don't, okay?
I nodded weakly. I'd never been threatened by someone this much older than me, and I was very frightened. What?
What? What?
What the fuck?
What? Let's see how this... Well, remember, there was one other theory we had, right? For, like, how one of the personas came to be.
We had the order wrong.
We might have had the order wrong. Unless she's about to introduce herself by the name of Canon. Anyway, that's still you.
Don't worry. I'll be there with you. Let's give it our all together, okay?
Unless this is Canon's perspective.
Wait. She's the only one who can see Shannon. She's one yet many. That's gonna be it.
Good catch.
Isn't Shannon scared too? This house looks pretty strict. Nah, there's nothing scary about it. You just thought it was scary, so it got scary. Then if I thought it was fun, would it get fun? Yeah, it would. So here too, let's give it our all with a smile. Shannon was my only friend in the Fukuin house. She was confident and popular. The complete opposite of me. I was embarrassingly dull-witted and no one wanted to be my friend. I would never have made it through those days in the Fukuin house had it not been for her encouragement. So I would probably make it through here too, with her by my side. Well, isn't it about time we got ready for bed? I've got work early tomorrow morning, but you have a different job. That's right. Unlike everybody else, I have to go to school. When I spend the night on Rokkenjima, I have to get ready for school and wait for Milady at the dock.
I like how Furfur and Zepar are are the Greek chorus here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's good.
Milady looks like an energetic person. I hope you get along well. Do you think I will? I'm so scared of school, so nervous. I had grown used to life in the Fukuin house, so the more relaxed rules at school made life easy. But until I grew used to it, everything was new and everything made me nervous. My new life on Rokkenjima probably deserves an explanation. It was completely different from the comfortable yet stagnant life I'd lived at the Fukuin house. In addition to the time I spent as a servant to the Ushiromiya family on Rokkenjima, I also traveled to the elementary school on Nijima on school days. It was the start of a time that was both rushed and busy with hardly a moment to relax. Unlike the time I spent at the Fukuin house, I didn't get to sleep in the same bed every day. Half of the week I slept in the servant waiting room in the Rokkenjima mansion. I would return from school with Milady, go to the mansion, and work there as a servant. I would then stay the night and go to school with Milady again the next day.
This is actually almost assuredly going to be canon and not Shannon. Because the one that Jessica develops a fascination with, the one keeps calling her Milady.
Yeah, but so that can be true, and this can also be Shannon if they're the same person.
Well, yes, but I think there is like a person who is Shannon. I think the Shannon we've seen actually exists.
Maybe. When I didn't have work, I would return to the dormitory on Nijima, where I could have some time to myself in the room that I was assigned to. There was an adult dorm mother who strictly controlled meal times and lights out, but I was already used to that sort of life, so it wasn't hard for me. The rooms were slightly larger than average and housed 3 people each. However, either because of the number of people or some lucky chance, I was not given a 3-person room. Looks like we'll share a dorm room, too. With Shannon by my side, I felt like I'd be able to manage well enough. Correct. Every year, new servants came from the Fukuin house, replacing some of the old ones.
It was something Father worked out with the house all on his own. The rest of us weren't allowed to meddle.
And after all, our family would strictly discipline these children without families and support them on their path to adulthood, which I always viewed as the rich Ushiromiya family fulfilling its obligations to society. What sort of kids came to serve the Ushiromiya family? I'm sure they were serious, cute kids of irreproachable conduct. It seemed to me that there were a lot of glaring hyenas among them.
Let us say they had high ambitions. They were pitiable children left without families. All were determined to use this rare opportunity to launch their careers so that they could take control of their lives. And ride that control all the way to the moon!
Did all of them have to balance school and servant work? That must be tough. You wouldn't be able to get much work done. Before that child, there were no cases of a servant going to school while they worked.
To be honest, I was fairly surprised when that kid first came to greet me. So obviously young. The others were all around 16 or 18 years old, but that kid alone looked 10 years younger.
That one extraordinarily young servant came to the family mainly for experience. So not much was expected of that child's ability as a servant.
Nah. Isn't this breaking some kind of child labor laws? Probably.
But we're rich.
All right, fuck the laws. You can't kill me if I have all this money. You certainly couldn't rely on that kid as much as you could an adult, seasoned servant.
To think that we would accept a child who hadn't even started school, no knowledge of housework, no practical experience, and not even finished with mandatory education. I don't know what Father was thinking, but I always thought there was something clearly odd about it.
So Kinzo made the decision.
Yep.
So Kinzo, they probably saw them and they're like, you remind me of my dead wife. Not my dead wife, you remind me of Beatrice. Not knowing that this was...
Or knowing.
Or knowing somehow, yeah. I spoke to father about it. I asked if it might be better to wait for the servant to graduate middle school before starting here.
And what did Kinzo say? Come on, we all know what he said.
Oh, Beatrice! By that time, he was already a complete shut-in inside his study, obsessed with the occult. If you tried to talk to him when he didn't want you to, he'd yell and tell you to stop interrupting the journey of his mind.
Wow, Kinzo did Odyssey of the Mind. And yet, father's decisions are absolute. However, the case of this particular child just didn't make sense.
I even asked the Fukuen house about it. They said to ask Genji-san. I then asked Genji-san, and he said to ask the master.
And then you asked the master, and he said, Beatrice.
Yeah. It's not just him being senile. It's
That's
literally
the
his
answer.
reason. That's his reason. Beatrice.
No one knows the truth.
Jessica was the only child on the island. The servants would often play with my daughter, but she wanted a friend of her own age. Someone she could play with at home as well as at school.
I began to think that father employed this servant out of pity for Jessica. But if that were the case, why wouldn't he talk to us about it beforehand? We should be the ones to decide which friends are suitable for our daughter. Scary. Natsuhi must have really hated taking her kid out in public.
So one other thing I'm putting together now is that the house had to ask Genji. Genji was the one that went to probably clean up after Natsuhi accidentally cliff yeeted the child. He was probably the one to find the child still alive and realize, oh, okay, well, we're not going to be able to raise him on this island. Let's send him here. We'll bring him back in the fold when we can. So that's probably the linchpin there. Yep, there you go. We should probably view this as an arrangement planned by Genji.
Probably.
Oh, hey, you're back up. Hey, bruh.
Genji-san knew that the me in this world carried grandfather's blood, so he probably arranged for that me to be summoned to Rokkenjima.
And yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Yeah. You feeling okay now?
It was a really big shock, that's all. I just feel a bit dizzy now.
In this world, you're the successor. But if we move to a different world, you're a servant. Or maybe a witch. You do have a troubled fate.
No kidding. I don't regret learning about it, but if I could forget it now, I would.
Sorry about that, bruh. Isn't it interesting? Even though you're a servant, you're actually an illegitimate child at the head. Isn't that romantic, like some sort of fairy tale?
Romantic? Considering how Mom must have felt, I'm not sure what to think.
True. In Natsuhi's eyes, the Leon of this world was nothing more than the baby she hated and was forced to raise. And in this world, she rejected that child. Natsuhi must adore her natural child, Jessica, a bunch more. A baby that doesn't share your blood is nothing more than a dirty, lukewarm sack of filth. Whoa, have some decency. Next time I'll be the one pinching your butt.
Thank you, Will. I think I understand more or less, and that's exactly why I need to be grateful to my mother. She's raised me fairly all these years.
Though at a probability so low, it'd take a miracle to happen. You're welcome, by the way. No need to thank me, but feel free to do it. But you don't need to, but you should. Animals are always brutal towards children that don't carry their blood. Lions do that too, don't they? Could probably sketch out Genji's line of thinking. The Leon of this world is a true blood-related member of the Ushiromiya family, right? He must have wanted to let that child live on Rokkenjima somehow. However, it wasn't as though he could suddenly show up with Leon and tell everyone who this was.
Yeah, maybe he wanted me to live on the island until I was used to it, and then reveal everything when the chance presented itself.
However, the Leon of this world was not given special treatment. The silver ring doesn't actually exist.
I wonder if that means grandfather never heard about me.
That might mean Genji never found a good opportunity to reveal the truth. You know, before Kinzo kicked the bucket.
Genji must have wanted to tell the truth one day, to tell that the orphan of Kinzo's beloved Beatrice was still alive. However, that was not an easy thing to say. Why wasn't it easy? Dummy, what would happen if Natsuhi found out? Oh, right. If Leon suddenly appeared, Jessica wouldn't be the successor anymore. Strictly speaking, Jessica wasn't the successor, but since she'd be able to select the future successor, it all came to the same thing. The more one learns, the less simple this tale becomes. There were some who celebrated my birth, and some who did not. Genji could only wait in silence for the proper day to reveal it all. Was it a tale hidden only within Genji's heart? Leon and Kinzo and Natsuhi and Kraus and Jessica and everyone else, none of them knew this tale. Thus, the curtains slowly rise on this curious tale in the year 1976. Oh, I am one, yet many. Why must fate abandon us and continue on its merry way? People only found the young servant strange for the first month. Natsuhi and Kraus's protests came to naught. After all, there was no actual harm in it. So, why not indulge Kinzo's whim?
Umineko really said, there is no actual harm in hiring little children.
Eventually, everyone grew accustomed and began to accept this slightly abnormal everyday life. However, it was not so for the other Fukuin servants, who were always close by and who believed that everyone should be treated equally. Their small bits of discontent over my special treatment began to accumulate as time went on.
Nice work, Sawachi. How'd it go today?
Anna was really pissed off. She was like running her finger across the windowsills.
Yeah, and getting on Tadachi's case for cleaning slow. Come on, give us a break.
All of the kids in the Fukuin house are supposed to treat each other as family. Because of this, everyone hides their original names and uses their new blessed names. Maybe because the
I think that's
is that the own? Maybe because the own character is in the word Fukuin. That character is almost always combined with at least one character from the child's original name to make their new name. Still, just giving a person a new name doesn't mean they'll accept it so easily. Boys and girls who have lived in isolation and through various trials sometimes feel as though their real first and last names are a bond that's worth holding on to. So most of the Fukuin children hate their own names, calling each other by nicknames based on their original names. Of course, that's only done privately. When in the presence of the house director or other important people, only the blessed names are used. On the job, the blessed names are used, and off the job, informal nicknames are used. Everyone's very used to living with two names like this, so they're all comfortable with how the system works.
You stink. Go take a shower.
Dang, why is it so cramped in here? Can't they get a bigger door if they're gonna have that huge mansion?
Hey, Garashi-san. Why is Yasu the only one who isn't in the 3-person room?
Who?
Yasu.
Who?
Yoshia?
I feel... Oh, damn. I fucking had it crossed in my brain.
Yep.
Shit.
Yep.
I thought that we just got...
Nope.
Damn.
Yep. It's... This is the one that's canon. And...
No, but
Oh,
but
I'm
that's
sorry.
that's what I thought was the case. But that's not. This is a different name. So Yoshi is not the original name.
Oh, that's
either.
true. So Yoshia is just... Okay. So...
'Cause
Yasu.
that's the thing that was tickling my brain and I thought was the case, but it
Got it.
apparently
Okay.
not.
So...
Shannon and Cannon are both, as was said previously, are both furniture.
Yep.
Yasu, whoever that is.
So
is
then,
the
what do
person
we do
here.
with the canon corpses then?
Maybe
Hmm.
there's something.
I do think the Shannon that they meet and talk to there is probably a real person, and they're probably gonna die.
Maybe. By Yasu, they probably mean me. I can't remember my parents at all, since they were gone as far back as my memory goes, but I was given the last name Yasuda, and apparently my nickname comes from that.
How should I know? Genji-sama's the one who decides the rooms. I don't like it either. Genji decides the rooms. So Genji has a hand here.
Yeah, seriously, wouldn't it normally go 2 and 2?
I mean, who exactly is Yasu anyway?
Looks like that kid's job is going to school with my lady or something. So what, is being a school friend a profession now? Doesn't make any sense.
Of course, on days when I am given work, I return to the mansion right after school and work alongside all the others. I help out with caring for the garden and cleaning up the mansion. I can't do any jobs on my own, so I'm always just helping out. Maybe because I'm young, the adult servants are always kind to me. My fellow Fukuin servants don't seem too happy about that, though.
Do you think Kumasawa-san's obviously soft on Yasu? It's like she's mistaking Yasu for her own grandchild or something. And why on earth does that kid get paid the same as the rest of us? I don't get it. I realize you have school to worry about, but don't you forget that you're a servant too, okay? You need to stop being a helper and learn to do work by yourself like the rest of us. We're not gonna let you take it easy forever, okay?
I have been trying my best. However, I'm not very strong yet, so I can't carry heavy things. I can't carry a lot of things either. I can't fold clothes right, and I'm not good at using a dustpan. I just can't do it as well as everyone else. As my face turned red, I spotted Shannon, who was watching from the sidelines and not joining in. Shannon is my only ally. Unlike me, she can do everything well. That doesn't match up with the Shannon
Yeah, which
we
makes
know.
me think that the Shannon's gonna bite the dust.
or is a head friend.
Either a head friend or this is the one that bites the dust.
However, she'll never pamper me. She'll show me how things are done, but she'll never steal my jobs from me. She really is incredible.
Although the way that, yep.
I really want to be like Shannon as soon as I can. She never talks behind people's backs, and no one talks behind her back. She's kind and she gets along with everyone. I want to be like her, and she's always kindly watching over my efforts to become like her. Why did I end up here? I don't know. Though I'd just been muttering to the ceiling, Shannon gave me an honest answer. I guess there's no way to say it except that it's part of God's plan. Is this another test from God? Yep, think of it as a test to help you grow into a wonderful human being. After all, you're a special, chosen person. Am I special? Of course you are. After all, everyone else here is huge, but you were the only one special enough to be chosen young. Why am I the only one who's little? I can't do any jobs by myself. Everyone complains that I'm just there to play with Milady, and yet Madam made it clear that I am not to think of Milady as a friend or speak to her in a casual manner. I wonder if that will cause serious psychological issues.
Thankfully, this never affected me down the line.
You may be 10 years younger than everyone else, but that means if you keep it up until you're the same age as the others, you'll be much more experienced than the new people who come later.
Oh no, I think you're right that Shannon, that this is their persona that they want to grow into. Oh yeah, okay.
Even Genji-sama will acknowledge your talents, and you'll become a leader who can teach the new kids who come from the Fukuin house. And then I'm sure that everyone will respect you, and they'll all give you a round of applause. By that time, even Madam, the Master, and Kraus-sama will acknowledge your skills. That's your future. You mean like the ugly duckling becoming a swan? That might be it. After all, it was very unusual for you to be chosen as an Ushiromiya family servant. In fact, that rumor might be true. And you might be the secret child of someone in the Ushiromiya family. Shannon laughed, saying, "Wouldn't that be cool? And then you'd be super rich, too." But that didn't seem quite right to me. After all, if that was the case, why have I had to live all alone here in the Fukuin house, I hope that doesn't cause psychological consequences for me either. Shannon and people like the house director are the only ones who will play with me. I don't have any other friends to play with, and I've spent all my time by myself, in my isolated room. Maybe it's because I'm frail and always sleep a lot, but it has been lonely.
Yeah.
Hey, Genji! Exactly how
Hello.
much did you know? You never talk about anything, but you've known everything since the beginning, haven't you? 19 years ago, you heard from Natsuhi that a servant had fallen from a cliff holding a baby. You went to the bottom of that cliff and realized that the baby was still alive, didn't you?
Yeah. I was not qualified to determine whether it was alive or dead.
Then who was? The doctor, of course. What do you say, Dr. Nanjo?
Is it all right for me to fuck?
If you are willing to tell the story yourself, then I ask it of you.
I'm going to begin my murder. I'm contacted by Kinzo after breakfast. And that's to conduct an examination on focus.
Funny how that keeps happening.
I mean, you go to a man once for a thing, and he kind of becomes known as the guy for
The
that
secret
thing.
doctor guy. In secrecy, why?
Both the Beatrice and Contrarian and her child were unregistered people who weren't supposed to exist. It will lead to various problems if it were public.
I had started the procedures to have the baby registered, but they were not complete at the time. It was a very unfortunate time for the baby to die.
So, the servant who fell was treated as having died alone in an accident? Natsuhi wouldn't talk to anyone, it would have been easy to set up. But that baby was alive, wasn't it?
Correct. Of course, the child was gravely injured. It was a miracle that he survived that wound. If the angle had been slightly different, or if Genji hadn't been any slow in carrying the baby to me, that baby only managed to survive thanks to a series of miracles.
A what?
A series of miracles.
A what?
A circle.
There we go.
Oh, well, thank you. I didn't realize my hair.
I had given up. I didn't believe the baby could have survived that. I even looked over the edge of the cliff and muttered to myself, no one could have survived that, virtually guaranteeing that it would absolutely die for real. For realsies.
But it did. How strong and resilient is life? No, this is fate. Fate! So the baby was fated to live on and eventually accomplish something great?
Yes, I did think it was fate. I thought the blood of Kuwadori and Beatrice-sama, whose life ended on Rokkenjima, must have imparted something onto this child to make it survive.
However, Genji did not tell his master, Kinzo, that the child had survived. He simply said that it had fallen to its death in an unfortunate accident. Kinzo mourned, but his mourning was more one of madness than of sorrow. Why is my bra on the outside of my clothing?
That's a question only between you and God.
Oh, Beatrice, why have you run away from me once more? Why, even though I swore I'd never make the same mistake again? Why? There was one matter in which Genji did not trust the master he so respected. That matter was whether Kinzo would be capable of accepting Beatrice's grandchild as her grandchild.
Although, to be fair, yeah, Genji, that was probably the right call.
Yeah, it really
Given
was.
Kinzo's history in the matter, yeah, that was probably the right call.
Genji had served the Kuwadori and Beatrice for many years as well. He was very aware of what she had felt. He knew that she had accepted the favor Kinzo had bestowed on her and respected him as a father. However, her love was not the same as Kinzo's love. Kinzo thought her to be Beatrice reborn, and tried to use her to satisfy the many feelings he had felt for the late Beatrice. Of course, the Kuadorian Beatrice could not accept those feelings. In the end, she had her chastity stolen by the one she thought of as her only family and respected as a father.
I get that we're dancing around it, but it feels like I'm reading, like, it's super weird to hear such a despicable act described in such, not exculpatory language, but language that almost makes it seem like a whoopsie doodle.
I don't think that's the intention at all.
I know it's not the intention, it's just like...
She thought he was her father, and he thought she was his wife. Oh, what irreconcilable forbidden love.
This is not to say that I was incapable of understanding how Kinzo-sama felt. At the moment of her birth, even he did not plan on taking advantage of her due to her resemblance to the late Beatrice-sama.
I even spoke to my mother the 2 times when we were drinking. I thought he was just joking.
Was he surprised to find that the daughter grew to look more and more like the mother? As the daughter grew, did he suffer from a forbidden emotion he couldn't suppress?
I thought that he might commit the same mistake again. Yep. That was my view. Beatrice-sama suffered much. And yet she never truly understood the difference between her feelings and Kinzo's. Beatrice-sama consulted me many times, laying bare her deepest feelings. However, I was unable to tell her.
That would be hard to say. Imagine telling her that the one she respects as a father wants to use her as a replacement for her dead mother.
Yes, that would be fucked up.
Let me say this for the sake of Kinzo-san's honor. He also suffered greatly. It pained him when he found that he could no longer think of his daughter as a daughter. I told him to love her as a father. I think Kinzo-san followed his logic and conscience, and fought for quite some time.
Kinzo loved her.
Just Nanjo going to bat for Kinzo here. Like, come on, dude. Just you don't need to.
That's how Kinzo got away with this shit, because the people around him were willing to make these excuses.
You're absolutely right.
We're learning the thought processes that let this fucking
happen.
happen.
You're absolutely right. Because Nanjo and Genji thought this way, and like we're so willing to like bend over backwards to try and excuse and try to like help, and not necessarily excuse, but try to like help, want him to move on from that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what enabled this shit.
Kinzo loved her. He poured his affection onto the daughter that Beatrice had left behind. He did so as a father. And yet, if so, why did he give the daughter the same name as the mother? Yes, Kinzo's sin started from the moment she received life. She was born and Beatrice died. He passed that name down from mother to daughter. From the moment of her birth, Kinzo had already decided she was Beatrice reborn.
So then, we get Leon. How you holding up, bruh? Need a drink? I can pour you a stiff one.
Oh, yeah, the stiffest.
Kinzo tried to atone for his sin. Try to make Leon a proper member of the Ushiromiya family, right? Exactly. I get the feeling I'll get my butt pinched if I talk about other fragments, but what if there was a fragment where Leon is accepted, and Kinzo commits the same sin again? Want to see if we can find one of those?
Who would want to see something like that?
Clearly me. I'm not at all well, in case that's not clear.
Is this your job, mixing up the worst possible delusions and possibilities for every part of a person's life and sneering at them?
So, do you want the honest answer to that question, bruh?
I think I've already figured it out.
Okay. Unfortunately, that's just the sort of demon she is. How rude. I'm a witch, not a demon. Genji foresaw that worst of all possible futures, and trying to secure a better future, he intentionally lied about the baby being dead.
Right. Kinzo was a man so impulsive that he used his own daughter, Genji, who knew Beatrice's feelings and felt sympathy for her, couldn't trust Kinzo so easily.
Even Genji, Kinzo's most devoted servant. Genji draws a clear line between the professional and the personal. While he served Kinzo faithfully, he also felt that the mistake Kinzo had made with his daughter was not one to be forgiven easily. Yeah, it could be. To make sure that Leon wouldn't be found out easily, Genji lied about the kid's age, lowering it by 3 years.
Oh!
That's where that inconsistency comes in.
Yep.
All right. I mean, I think we had basically just accepted that, that Sayo Canon was lying about their age.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Yasu.
Yeah.
We finally have a name.
But even that name is just the last name that's bestowed upon them by Genji.
I mean,
to go to the orphanage.
Yeah, true. So many.
And we don't have a given name yet. Anyway,
your parents let you have so many names. It's pretty poggers. Did I use that right, Leon?
Gee, Yasu, why do your dead parents let you have like 8 names? That's a good point. In this world, I'm just entering elementary school in 1976. I was actually supposed to become a 4th year then.
If your frailness wasn't the reason, then Genji must have been careful to disguise the year of your birth. Not only Kinzo, but Natsuhi wouldn't easily forget the baby from 19 years ago. If a suspiciously young servant of that age came to the island, Natsuhi's woman's intuition would definitely have picked up on it. Had the child been too sick to go to school for 3 years? Or had the age been faked so that Natsuhi wouldn't figure everything out? Either way, we know that your age has been lowered by 3 years in this world. Correct. The age of this world's Leon has been altered by 3. This is a small, feeble kid we're talking about. An underdeveloped kid. It would have been more possible to pull off than you think. Strangely, you want to know what gripe that takes away from being as creepy as it was?
What?
Wait, no, it doesn't. I was gonna say no.
It doesn't.
That's still a big age gap. That doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. It's still fucked up.
Yeah. Genji decided to wait and see. In the end, would Kinzo be able to accept Beatrice's child as an actual child or not? He had the child live in the Fukuin house until a suitable age, and then summoned the child to the island as a servant. Both father and child had no clue who the other was. Genji had an idea. If Kinzo truly felt affection as a parent, he would notice traces of that deceased mother and daughter in this child. This plan was a horrible one that will lead to severe consequences for me.
I don't see how that could possibly be the case.
That way, they would surely regain their parent-child relationship without anyone having to expose the truth to them. That's what he thought. Or perhaps the time might come naturally. When that happened, he could tell the truth to both father and child. Believing that this day would eventually come, Genji told nothing of this to anyone. He watched over Beatrice's child, waiting for the fated day. And time continued to pass. Days slid by as he quietly watched over Beatrice's child.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. We're going to take a mid-episode recording break here. There'll be another one here. But before we do that, let's go ahead and just look at the tips real fast.
Yeah, let's check those tips.
Let's check those tips real fast. Just the tips. Oh, the first friend. I can't pause right now. So. All right, let's go to Claire Vawoff Bernardus.
I'm Claire Vohoff Bernardus. I was created by Berncastle to be a reader, or perhaps a substitute actor. Technically, I am a vessel used to personify Beato and her game. Therefore, I have no personality of my own. In that sense, perhaps I am not a person, but a tool. My name signifies my position as the final guide in Beato's game. My dress looks kind of like a cake. I would like to take a bite out of it, but Berncastle won't let me.
Don't eat it's not as tasty as you think it is. I snuck a bite earlier. Just be thankful I didn't give you the same unitard thing that everyone else has.
Yeah, at least I got a skirt that goes all the way around. Oh, fuck, I didn't. Mine's just longer.
Right? Hers just longer. Okay, yeah, so it's all the same. There. Cool. The first friend!
Wow.
Wow! I can't wait till I make a friend.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait, sorry. Yasu. All right, I gotta click the mouse to advance things. I'm doing that as well. Shit. What did you do with the small broom?
Didn't you use it to clean the window frames? Ah, the small broom is a little thin broom that looks like a large paintbrush. We use it to clear out the dust in small corners, like window frames. It's one of the cleaning tools I was put in charge of.
Come on, that's your responsibility. What have you been doing, you idiot?
Quickly, go and find it.
Yeah, no one has interacted with Shannon at all yet. We were going back and forth after we finished the last section on whether or not we think Shannon is actually real here, but no one is interacting with her. And unless the joke is unless they're building us up, to be like, oh yeah, she is actually there. It's just some very poorly selected situations to catch people overthinking it. Right? Which I wouldn't put past this game.
You have to do it before Madam finds out.
What's up? Yasu lost the small broom again. The kid must be some sort of genius at losing things. That's why I'm always telling you never give things to Yasu. Yeah. Wait. This hairstyle's new.
Is it?
I don't recall any of the stakes having that particular hairstyle.
Do we have the stakes images?
Let me...
Yeah. Probably. We probably do right there, yeah?
Where? Here? I like how they give them to you exactly.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
yeah.
You're right. No, you're right. All right. I like how they give them to you here just so that way
so you can double check.
All right, because I assume the first thing you look at that and the first thing you think is like, wait, hold on, really? And then you have to go back and double check and they're like, don't worry. I know they don't even show up in this chapter, but we got you.
Oh, we don't know they don't even show up in this chapter. They might.
True.
There is one notable difference though.
Yeah?
Did you catch it?
What?
No red eyes.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Guess no taking warning then. That's why I'm always telling you, never give things to Yasu. Yasu's always careless and losing things.
Don't say that. Can't you see that this kid's working hard? Go on, hurry and find it. I'll wait for you. Okay. Not wanting to hear my fellow servants complain even more, I spun around and headed off. If you lose a tool, you get in trouble. If no one knows who did it, we all get yelled at. So one of them will probably tell Madam that it was my fault. Still, it really is my fault that I lost it in the first place. I wonder when I lost it. When? We cleaned out the entire chapel today. The chapel is a large building behind the mansion. However, no one ever goes near it normally. They always go near it in really weird ways. Even so, we are ordered to clean it a few times each year. Kinzo calls it a sacred building, so Natsuhi is very strict about it. We'd cleaned every little nook and cranny from top to bottom. It had taken all day. I had been in charge of cleaning the window frames, but I had also been given many smaller tasks. While those small jobs were keeping me busy, I completely forgot about the small broom, and I must have left it lying around somewhere. I began to hate myself for it. This isn't the first time that this has happened. It happens all the time. Every time I set something down, it always disappears. It goes somewhere else, vanishes, and they haven't invented ADHD meds yet. I thought it was probably the witch Beatrice pranking me. The ghost of the witch gained power from Rokkenjima's evil spirits and was reborn. Until Kumasawa-san told me, I never knew the meaning of the shrine on the rocks by the sea. Kumasawa told an old tale passed down among the local fishermen. Rokkenjima used to be known as Akujiki-shima, and terrible evil spirits who ate human souls lived there. Hey, Kumasawa, let us hear too. Tell us the scary, scary tale of Rokkenjima's evil spirits.
Oh, all right. Well, very well, very well. If you insist. Rokkenjima was once called Azukishima. However, even deeper in the distant past, it was known as Akujiki-shima. It was rumored that sailors who went too near the island were dragged down to the bottom of the sea and had their souls eaten. Woohoo! Frightening spirits such as those do exist on this island.
It was Kumasawa's favorite ghost story. Every new servant who came to the island heard about it. Such stories are usually laughed off, but when stormy nights visited Rokkenjima, bringing an eerie howling to that lonely island where nothing exists except the Ushiromiya mansion, everyone would listen meekly. The shrine by the coast was there to seal the evil spirits away, and the master had that creepy occult hobby. And the mansion was so spooky, it was easy to picture something hiding in the shadows.
Oh, in the shadows?
The shadows!
What is even happening here? Leon, can you tell me what's happening in this thing?
No.
All right, well. I wonder where Burncastle keeps the popcorn.
True. The traveling Shugenja monk was only able to suppress those spirits. Only barely able. The seal just managed to hold them, but to this very day, they wander through the mansion night after night, searching for a victim.
Have you seen the master's study? I have. It's like some kind of demon laboratory. There's that rumor about the master researching demons. They also say he's researching how to revive his mistress, Beatrice. Didn't they say he was gathering children to be sacrifices for his magic experiments? Wow, scary. What'd you do if the master asked you to come into the study alone? I heard that long ago, one kid went into the study and never came out. That must have been a victim of an experiment to give Beatrice's ghost a new body.
Very true. Beatrice-sama has become a ghost and wanders around, searching for a body. The VIP room on the second floor is where Beatrice-sama dwells. You must always be respectful when cleaning that room. If you aren't... Nothing personnel, kid.
In the eyes of teenage boys and girls with their powerful imaginations, the ghost story was both terrifying and fascinating. It gave them a sense of solidarity since they all got to experience the same tale. Then, that sharing became an obligation, and accepting the story became a rite of passage for joining the community. This was something that had been passed on since long ago.
The community of teenage servants that serve the Ushiromiya mansion. Just so we're clear what we're talking about, right?
Yeah?
Yeah, okay. Just making sure I'm on the right page here.
That's right. Back when I first started work at Rokkenjima, I heard that story from Kumasawa-san and the older servants.
I heard about it too, mostly from Ne-san.
Well, I heard it too, from Kumasawa-san mainly.
So, not only the timid-looking Shannon, but a boy, Cannon, and a big adult, Goda, believed in the ghost story?
Well, I didn't really believe in the... Well, fuck.
Well, there are tales of ghost stories and jinxes in all jobs. There were several stories of the sort at the hotel I once worked at.
So, you thought it was silly and you didn't mind it at all?
I think there was a need to blend in with the community.
Oh, that's it. Ghost stories and jinxes are the local rules of your workplace, right? If a newcomer breaks those rules, they can't expect to be welcomed in.
Exactly. If I said witches couldn't possibly exist, that the whole idea was ridiculous, then I'd get into a fight with Ne-san. It was easier if I just appeared to go along with it.
Come on, if you think that way, you'll be cursed. There was one servant who got seriously injured.
All workplaces have stories like that. No matter how incredible the ghost stories and tales about the company founder are, you accept and believe them. That's what it means to blend in with your new workplace.
Wow! Everyone's so mature!
I got you.
Having the maturity to believe absolute fucking bullshit.
I mean... I mean, what's the difference between that and, like, the 5 laws for success? It's just a difference in the magic you think is going to happen.
I went to each window around the chapel in the order I had cleaned them, searching carefully in all the places I might have left it. I had been cleaning the windows with it, so it had probably been set down near one of those. When did I leave it behind, I wonder? Now that I think about it, I don't think I had it anymore when I reached the last window. So, I must have completely forgotten to clean that window frame. Ah. Through the window, I could see the others leaving, one after another. Shannon turned around and glanced up, looking worried. I don't want to be responsible for making everyone wait, so I'm actually glad they're leaving without me. If I said I wanted them to wait for me, I'd be relying on them too much. The sun's beginning to set, and the chapel's getting darker and darker. I don't want to hang around in a place like this all by myself. I'd better find the small broom fast. No, that's not all. I also need to clean the window frames I forgot. Madam is strict. She'll probably check all the windows carefully. If she does, I'll be the one who gets in trouble tomorrow. But really, where did I lose it? Why did I lose it? The darkness grew and grew. When it became dark enough that I would need a light before long, I began to panic. I dashed around and around the chapel, tears streaming down my face. As I stumbled about pathetically, I could feel the presence of a prankster witch giggling at me from the crack of the door and gaps in the ceiling. The ghost of Beatrice, the master's mistress, wanders about in search of a body to this very day. As she absorbs the power of Rokkenjima's evil spirits, her strength steadily grows, and she waits for the day of her resurrection. And for some reason, she's peeking out at me. And if I ever take my eyes off something for a second, she snatches it away and hides it. This isn't the first time this has happened.
So, what's happening? Yasuo's getting hazed, right, for being the young one?
Oh, probably. I didn't even thought of that.
Yeah, like, that's probably what's happening here, right? That's gotta be it. Either that or they are just having trouble, finding stuff, but...
To me, this all just read as normal because that's what happens when I set down an object.
I mean, fair, absolutely fair.
Whenever I look away, keys, handkerchiefs, pencils, erasers, all of them vanish almost right away. Even though I was planning to use them later or just wanted to put them in their proper place, they disappear as soon as I turn around.
Yeah, I guess it's whether Yasuo's describing like the feeling of constantly losing track of things, or describing literally things going missing.
It's unclear.
Yeah, it's unclear what we're...
It isn't someone hiding them as a prank.
Well, there we go.
It's happened many times when I'm the only person around. Everyone always says I'm too careless and forgetful, and they laugh at me, get mad at me. I do try to be alert, but... like some kind of bad joke, I lose things easily when I forget about them for just a short while.
Yeah. In the 2020s, we have medication for this kind of thing.
So, sometimes I think this eraser is going to disappear sooner or later, and I stare at it. But at those times alone, it doesn't disappear. Nothing disappears when I'm alert. But as soon as I think I'm safe and the tension relaxes just a bit, then something else will disappear. Why is it always me? Yeah, I hear you. I can tell that the witch is laughing at me as I run around in circles. Listening to that voiceless laugh, I finally slammed my hands against the wall, crying tears of frustration. Please, just stop it. Why do you always hide my things and get me in trouble? And the witch answered, Fool, isn't it obvious? Why else except to entertain myself by watching you wander around pointlessly? I couldn't bear it. Even though I knew what she said was true, hearing it said directly was incredibly annoying. I understand. That small broom probably is somewhere in this chapel. No, that's not quite it. I'm sure that the moment before I reached this window, it was right there on the windowsill. That's right, I'm sure I put it by this window. But the prankster witch Beatrice used her magic, and just before I reached this spot, she instantly teleported the small broom to the next window over.
I like the use of the swirling black and purple background for this, because it kind of mimics letting yourself spiral when you start getting in your own head and anxious over things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm imagining having, because this is symptomatic of ADHD, right? Of like just constantly losing track of stuff. Like not constantly, but like having moments where just like your attention lapses and you suddenly like you look around and you don't quite know where you lost something.
So you asked a question, and I didn't hear what the question was that you asked.
Right. So this is like symptomatic of something like ADHD, right?
Yeah, or something, maybe.
Yeah.
Or just being traumatized and alone.
Right.
So I definitely don't mean to lean in too hard into the one-off joke.
No. It wasn't meant to be a joke. I meant to be like
No. I made a joke about how Ritalin hadn't been invented.
Oh, gotcha.
Yet,
Okay.
but I didn't mean to.
But no, I'm thinking that like that's what they're doing as a way of coping with it in a time when no one will really explain what is going on with their brain.
Mm-hmm. I also, there's any number of reasons why someone might have trouble dealing with this shit. So
I mean, I mentioned it because like it's something that feels that I've dealt with a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's something that, and I'm like,
object permanence, how does it work? I don't know either.
Right? Philosophy tells me objects keep existing as soon as I stop looking at them. I don't know if that's true.
The instant I approached that window, a hole appeared beneath the small broom, swallowing it up. And it came out by the next window after that. It landed right inside it, as though it had been there the whole time. And this happened over and over again. As I ran up to that window, the small broom fell into a magic hole and went to the next window. And when I went to that window, it went to the next window. And I realized that she was just making fun of me. So no matter how much I searched, it would be useless. But if I stop searching, it'll be just sitting there by one window or another. So this isn't a search. It's a test of endurance. I kept chasing after the small broom, and Beatrice kept making it escape to the next window over, trying to make me give up. This is an eternal chase that'll end only when one of us gives up. So I kept going around and around, even to windows that I knew I'd already searched. If it's not by this one, then try the next one, and the next one. And the witch kept moving the small broom to the next window and the next. Just give it a rest. How long are you going to make fun of me? This isn't the only time. You always do this. The shrill, voiceless laugh of the formless witch continued to mock my sobbing. The witch is right beside me, laughing at me. As I dash around the chapel, she's following along with me, taunting me. Then, she must be there. She's right behind me, just over my shoulder, still cackling away. I know that turning around won't help since she has no form. I can try to look, but I mustn't look with my eyes. Once my eyes tell me there's nothing there, I won't be able to see anymore. I learned that from the director of the Fukuin house. What the fuck?
Okay.
Where we're going, we don't need eyes to see.
Apparently.
You mustn't try to see with your eyes. You must see with the eyes of your heart. The whole world is filled with God's love. and eyes. This is a Bloodborne situation here. In the many blessings of everyday life, one can see God, angels, and the Holy Ghost.
Sorry, I'd love to meme, but you know, comment section, you know what to do with the banger alert, right? Loving this one.
Is this a remix of an earlier motif?
If it is, it's not one that's coming to me immediately.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I'll have to look up it later, but yeah, let us know if this is a reinterpretation of an earlier theme. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep headbanging.
If you try to look with your eyes, you won't see them, so you won't be able to see them. So you won't be able to feel them or understand them. With the eyes of the heart, you will quietly understand. You don't look at their image. You see and draw them with your heart. In this way, I learned how to recognize beings not of this world at the Fukuin house.
Why? The way it was described up there, the whole world is filled with God's love. Is that sounds that sounds like exactly the language that was used to like describe the workings of God when I was very young and getting my Christian education.
Yeah.
Right. But seeing that and learning that and then taking that literally and using that to project witches and stuff onto the world around you.
Love is the single element that makes up this world. Beatrice learned that in Sunday school.
Except it's God's love. Shit. Oh, that's good. I guess as soon as if you had made the connection between Maria and like Mary of the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. If you had I'm sure there was something in there that we missed that would have clued us in on that. If we had made that connection, then suddenly love is the single element that makes up the world might have.
Maria's name is even spelled with a kanji that looks like a fucking cross.
Jesus Christ! I remember we even looked at it at the time, like that's funny, and then thought nothing else of it. Yeah, but okay, but also that would have had to happen before she was but whatever, fine, it's acceptable. I get it.
Ryukishi says, go to church and you'll learn to meet witches.
Apparently.
That's the moral of Umineko no Nakukoro ni. You heard it here first.
Yeah. We've seen the elements of it, but I don't think either of us guessed at how deeply that theme ran into specifically Maria's motivations. And apparently also the motivations of Yasu here. So, let's keep going.
It doesn't just mean being able to see God. This power lets one see all of those not of this world. Please, stop it now. Stop this prank. So, you can speak to me. I'm clumsy, bad at my job, and I do put things down and forget about them a lot. But I know which things were my fault and which things were because of your pranks. How amusing. Not only can you perceive me in my formless state, but you even understand my little game. It seems you're a more interesting creature than I thought, Yasu. I am usually called Yasu when one of the older servants is laughing behind my back at some mistake I've made. So when I hear that name, it feels bad. She called me not by the blessed name given to me by the Fukuin house, but by that unblessed name. Upsetting the heart is a classic move that evil beings make. They do it to make it harder for people to notice their presence. To beings like witches, being understood is like shoving them out into the light of day. It won't work. In the Fukuin house, I learned how to perceive those not of this world. So I'm already able to understand you. Very interesting. You've taken me, a being so faint that I'd fly away if you blew on me, and trapped me, perceived me. You're an interesting kid, Yasu. It won't work. I've now understood and perceived you. No matter how many unpleasant things you say, you'll just expose the ugliness of your heart. Without turning around, I slowly let my range of vision fill the entire chapel. It was as though the viewpoint of my soul was floating out from the shell of my head. See, inch by inch, my range of vision is floating out of my head and drifting upwards. They also taught me to astral project in Sunday school.
Jesus Christ, I wish I went to that Sunday school.
As I looked down at myself, standing there with head hanging and eyes tightly shut, the eyes of my heart, very slowly, rose up to the ceiling of the chapel. And when I looked down from there, I saw myself standing in the center of the chapel and the witch standing behind me. Apparently, the witch realized that I could see her.
You thought you were done with me, didn't you, bitch?
She turned around and raised her eyes to look at the eyes of my heart, floating by the ceiling. My eyes are up here. At last, I could see the witch Beatrice with the eyes of my heart.
A mere human that can perceive my form?
The demonic lips twisted in an ugly curve. It was clearly a challenging, repulsive, demon's smile. She wore a blood-red dress and hat. The design was completely different from anything humans wore. For example, it was wildly impractical. How does it even stay on?
I kept trying to return it because it was missing half the dress. But then I'm like, well, I guess I just need something to wear, right?
Her hair was blonde. It had countless beautiful curls like a princess from a picture book. But there was no trace of cuteness about her.
I did think you were a bit different from the other humans, but it seems I was mistaken. Forget just a bit. You're nothing like those other humans.
You sad witch who can be seen by no one, heard by no one. Have you been pulling these pranks all the time just to catch the attention of humans?
I use what little magic I have to interfere when humans aren't looking, but no matter what I do, none of them think it's magic. They decide that they just made a little mistake and blow my existence away like candles on a cake.
If so, then I've just saved you. Because I understand you and have perceived you.
Hold on. Before we go much further,
Yeah?
Yasu here's addressed the Gap as Beatrice, right?
Yeah?
Okay. So, can I take a quick tangent to
Yeah.
something we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was rewatching through the first part of episode 3, and that scene starts out with a very confusing. Episode starts out with a very confusing scene where it's not clear who is being talked to.
Mm-hmm.
But they throw around the name Beatrice a lot, and they use the name Beatrice explicitly to describe Kumasawa, or not Kumasawa, to describe Virgilia. I'm sorry.
Yep.
But the demon that appears is Virgilia. So
Wait, what?
the demon that appears on screen, but is addressed by the name Beatrice, is Virgilia.
The witch?
The witch. Sorry, witch. Yeah. Okay.
Same difference.
Same
but
difference. Yeah. What if Beatrice is the name that people tend to give to the first time they encounter, for whatever value of encounter, right? These demons or witches.
Maybe. It would make sense. It's the
Yeah.
one they'd hear the most around here on Rokkenjima.
So Yasu's version of the witch they've just encountered, the one that they've created for themselves, the Gap and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without any other things to tell them what Beatrice should be or should look like, this is what they've decided Beatrice is.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever was the POV character in that earlier chapter 3, they decided Beatrice looks like Virgilia.
Mm-hmm.
However, these characters, these versions of these witches, then get melded into the rest of the story somehow.
Mm.
And I don't know what the importance of that is, because they lose the name Beatrice when suddenly like a portrait is put up and there is a Beatrice with a divine name and picture now.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, oh, this can't be the Beatrice. This can't be the Beatrice. This has to be Gap, or this has to be Virgilia, right? I don't quite have a fully formed thought there. It's just something I'm trying to like kick around in my mind, like why they're always given the name Beatrice before someone else, before there are more of them, I guess. The first time they encounter them, that they're always named Beatrice. Anyway.
It's a good thought.
Yeah, I don't really have an end to point to that, so I'm just going to keep going on.
Save me. To me, this meeting with you is nothing more than a new way to kill time.
It's getting dark. I don't have time to play with you anymore.
Oh, my apologies. I was so engrossed that I didn't even notice the time.
Please give it back. My cleaning tool.
Yeah, that small broom or whatever you call it. It's right there by the next window.
But as soon as I get close, you'll move it to the next window over.
My form is elusive, as is my magic. With the snap of my fingers, I can do anything.
The witch snapped her fingers, and various things throughout the chapel were sucked into a black pitfall beneath them, disappearing. No, they didn't disappear. The instant they vanished into the dark holes, other dark holes appeared in completely different parts of the chapel, and the vanished objects fell out of those. Chairs, musical scores, clocks, and vases started appearing and disappearing all across the room. It made it feel as though countless tools were flying about the chapel.
I could do things like this, but I generally don't. After all, this would be a bit beyond a mere prank, don't you think?
I wonder what the difference between a prank and magic is to a witch. When she snapped her fingers again, all of the loud flying objects returned to their original spots, and silence fell.
I've taken a liking to you. You perceived and captured me? I don't see a Pokeball anywhere. Come on, man. But you know how this works yet?
Those haven't been invented yet.
No, but insect capturing has been, and that's what led to the invention of Pokemon. It's like that, but it's tiny in a plastic ball. So it's better. Works the same in reverse. I perceived and captured you.
The Fukuin director told me not to try and see evil beings. If you see them, they will possess you. Now that I understood this witch, a bond had formed between us.
You know what else that wraps up? The presence of demons, in another, and fundamentally, demons tied up in, this very Christian version of, Christian mythos. Angels, demons, a biblical heaven and hell. It explains how those kind of got their way into the picture. Or we had originally thought it was just part of Kinzo's, fascination with Western culture, but it goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is correct. Now that you've acknowledged my existence, I formed a bond with you. After the years I spent in boredom, it'll be nice to have a young kid like you to talk to.
I'll talk to you from time to time, so will you stop pulling pranks like this?
No, I'm not here to talk to you, but to play with you. And if we're playing, pranks are just part of the game, right? Well, very well. I've had enough fun for one day. The sun has sunk and the moon is full. I'm a bit tired after appearing in front of you for so long. Let's call it a night, alright? Look how much fun we had with just a single broom. We should play Smash Bros. Next time, or Mario Kart.
That hasn't been invented yet either, but I would be down. Please, give it back.
No way. I'll keep this as a token of our meeting, alright? Got a problem with that?
If I said I did, would you give it back to me?
I never listen to humans. However, I might lend an ear to a friend.
If you give it back, I'll acknowledge you as a friend.
Foolish human, did you actually think that alone would make me want to deal? If you want to make a deal with me, try drawing a mysterious magic circle or two, huh? And yet I might still consider your proposal.
What do you mean you might?
I'll take my time in deciding whether you're worthy to be my friend. After all, to be a witch is to be a Contrarian and a Monojaku. If you ask us for an answer, we'll never give one right away.
Understood. Then I'll leave the small broom with you. Please give it back when you decide to become my friend.
Very well. Will this broom become a bridge of friendship between us or not? I will hang on to it for now, making my decision my own good time.
When the witch snapped her fingers, the broom for which I had searched so long fell out of a hole in the air, landing between the fingers she had just snapped.
This is goodbye. This game with you was far from boring, though. Let's play again sometime.
If you're my friend, that is.
When a cat toys with a mouse, does it try to become friends with it first? Later, loser.
The witch faded away. As she did, the eyes of my heart shut themselves. When I returned to my body, I felt suddenly tired and let out the breath I'd been holding. Of course, when I turned around, there was no one to be seen. I couldn't feel the witch's presence anywhere anymore. It had gotten very dark by this time. I decided to leave the chapel. There's no point in searching for the small broom any longer. Not until the witch decides to give it back. I went out of the chapel. The chapel key had been left in the lock. I used it to lock the door. What am I going to do about the small broom? There's nothing I can do. I can't even blame the witch. I must acknowledge that I'm responsible for giving the witch a chance. When I happened to glance downwards, I saw a small broom laying there by my feet. It was the broom I had been searching for all this time. Don't tell me that it'll be swallowed up by a dark hole the instant I bend over to pick it up. No. This is a sign from the witch. A sign that she acknowledges me as a friend. I picked it up. Oh, I am one yet many. The first friend I made after coming to the island was apparently not a human at all. However, when I think back on it, it was only natural. What other sort of friend would you expect to make on a witch's island? This was the first meeting between me and Beatrice. However, as some of you listeners have noticed, this was not a meeting with the real Beatrice. The witch I then called Beatrice would later be known by another name.
Okay, so we're actually explicitly talking about it now, right? Okay, yeah.
However, she was clearly not human, and being bonded with one who is not human means being bonded with their world. I still had no way of knowing the varied fates that waited for me on Rokkenjima.
End of chapter 2. The first friend.
Whoa!
There will now be
Bravo!
there will now be a short 5-day intermission for all of you to stand up and walk around and go about your lives as though things were normal. As though you had not left part of your soul here on this island invested in this story. We'll see you all on Friday for the beginning of chapter 3.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.
Wait, fuck, it's gonna be on a Monday.